Okay, so I want all of you to think of the item that is at the top of your Christmas or birthday wish list. Okay, so how many of you would be really happy if at the end of the day that item was at your house? Okay, so now how many of you would be a lot happier if you worked really hard all 4 years here at ASU and came out with a really good GPA? Okay, so I know from my audience analysis that most of you guys consider yourself to be goal-oriented and you associate positive emotions with goal achievable. So I know that you'll better understand what I'm about to tell you. So I'm about to talk to you about happiness, and hopefully when I'm finished you'll have a better understanding of where happiness comes from and kind of where it doesn't come from. And in order to do this, I'm going to tell you about my personal journey to happiness. And I'm going to do that by telling you a little bit of background information about myself and my decision to move back to Washington. Then I'm going to tell you about a night that changed everything for me. And then I'm going to tell you about what I learned from that and the positive changes that I've made in my life now to kind of live a happier life. Okay, so that's a picture of me at my high school graduation. As you can see, I have honor cords. All throughout my life, I was really, really focused and ambitious and had high aspirations. And when I decided to come to ASU, my decision was kind of swayed by the fact that my parents had moved here. So I was kind of insecure about my decision, and I'd also had a lot of insecurity issues growing up. Also, when I came here, I had a boyfriend back home, so that kind of put a damper on my experience here. I was having fun and I made good friends, but I still wasn't really happy, and I think a big part of that was I was kind of insecure with myself still in my decision to come here. So after a year, I decided to move back to Seattle. And I thought that that was going to mean happiness for me. I'd be with my boyfriend, I'd have independence from my parents, I'd have my own money, have my own things, and everything would just be great. But a year later, I was probably a lot more unhappy than I was while I was here, and I just didn't know why. So now that I've given you a little bit of background information, I'm going to tell you about a night that changed everything for me. Okay, so this is my ex-boyfriend now, and my dog. 2 things that I thought would make me really, really happy. So, to tell you about that night, I thought it was going to be a normal Saturday night, just like every other Saturday. The usual party at Joey's house, and before that party, I decided to go out to dinner with some of my girlfriends. While I was at dinner, I got a call from my boss, which was really weird because I worked at a coffee stand, so the hours were a lot earlier. If I was going to get a call from him, it would have been like in the early morning or early afternoon. So I answered the phone, and he goes, "KaSandra, I really like you, you're a great employee, but you've made it clear that you're not happy here and I'm going to have to let you go." I was pissed, and I carried that attitude with me to the party that night. And then alcohol got involved and just was a bad deal. And it seemed like one of those nights where everybody just wanted to pick a fight with me. And of course I couldn't let anything go because I was already in a bad mood. So this girl named Maddie Davila walks in, and Maddie Davila is one of Joey's best girlfriends, and girls, you know that girl best friends don't exist. So I decided I was going to have a few choice words with her about her taking Joey out to the bars all the time. And I wasn't 21 yet, so I felt left out, and she made me mad. So after making a big scene and embarrassing myself, I walked up to Joey, who proceeded to dump me in front of everybody. And on top of getting fired, that was a pretty tough pill to swallow. I think I had a 30-second rage blackout and ended up breaking things and punching him. And so after my rage blackout, I just wanted to get out of there. Probably wasn't a good idea because I had been drinking, so thank God someone tried to stop me. But as they stopped me, this is a picture of my car, as they stopped me, my car was already in reverse, I was already moving. And when my friend opened my car door, the door swung open and hooked on the side of his car and pretty much ripped the door off my car. So now I've been fired, dumped, and crashed my car all on the same night. I lost everything that was supposed to have made me happy, but it was just a bad night. So the next morning, I woke up and I had a lot to think about. And I really learned a lot of from that night and that experience. So now that I've told you about that night, I'm going to tell you what I learned and the changes that I've made in my life to be a happier person. The next morning, I was hoping that all of it was just a really, really bad dream, but I had to face reality that it wasn't just a dream. And I sat there and I asked myself, if none of that had happened, would I be happy today? And my answer was no, because I was looking in all the wrong places for happiness. I was looking for a relationship with another person. I was looking to material things and statuses for happiness. But where happiness really comes from is yourself. If you're not happy with yourself and you're not okay with what you're doing in your life, you're probably not going to be a very happy person. So in order to, it took me a long time to realize this and probably a few half gallons of ice cream, but I eventually moved on, and that was a big part of my decision to come back here because I got back on track with my goals, and now I'm a happier person. There's a picture of me and my dad at the tailgate. I'm really family-oriented, so it was hard for me to be away from my family, which played into my unhappiness as well. And then there's another picture of me with one of my really good friends here. And since I've been back, I've just had a new perspective on it, and I've been a lot happier. So now I've told you about my personal experience about my decision to move back to Washington, a night that was epically horrible, and what I learned from all of that. And there are 3 things that I want all of you to take away from my experience, and those are: 1, happiness starts with yourself. 2, you can't look to any material possessions or money or other people to find happiness if you're not okay with yourself. And 3, if you find yourself unhappy, you have the right and the responsibility to make the changes necessary to live a happy life, because the people around you don't deserve to live with a miserable person, and you don't deserve to be miserable. Everyone deserves to be happy. Thank you.